Get Into Geek, this is episode 62. We are going to be talking new ground this week. My name is Mitch. Joining me, the full Get Into Geek team. We have Matty,
Hello.
Brendan,
what's up,
and Rhys.
Yeah, g'day.
First three of us, long-term Stargate fans. Rhys is coming along for the first time, a new journey, fresh eyes, each and every week of Stargate SG-1. We're talking Season 3, Episode 19 this week. New ground, as we do each and every week. We're going to be going to the...
Ironically, that's what Rhys said on his first time as well.
Yes, he did.
I didn't.
Gave it to him. We did. We're going to be going to the back of the DVD to read the synopsis back when Stargate SG-1 came at you in physical media. And it says...
Just like Rhys did his first time.
SG-1 journeys to a planet where their arrival ignites a war between two cultures. A powerful spy realizes his side could win the war if SG-1 and the Stargate can be neutralized. Will O'Neill and his team make the same realization and save themselves in time?
Don't they establish it? The war's already going on.
Totally. So this is pretty much a science v religion episode.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that because I'm not a fan of this episode normally. It's, you know, when we talk about rewatchability and stuff, it is one that I skip over quite a bit. And yeah, I kind of forgot about that sort of aspect to it. There was a couple of like knowledge bombs they dropped, and I've got some audio I'll play later, but there was a couple of knowledge bombs there that I was like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest knowledge bomb for me was how we've always been disputing of gate tech. And so, what's his name? Nyan?
Yeah.
He's unearthing the Stargate, and one of the last symbols is the first one we see is the Earth point of origin.
Yeah.
So, and we've been arguing, is that on another gate? Is that actually
it is now.
Yeah, well, we know it is now. Is it a constellation, or is it a point of origin? That's what, you know how in Gamekeeper they had that swirly vortex-looking thing?
Yeah.
You'd never see that anyway.
Yeah.
So it is constellation.
Yeah, I guess so. Or they just have the same Stargate.
Yeah.
Every
Third
week.
gate.
Yeah. But what annoyed me the most was Nine's like, another one! Like, as in another glyph.
Yeah.
And then they do
or a chevron. Like,
they do a wide shot, and he's literally unearthed the entire
unearthed
gate.
all of it as the
Except for
last
that little
one.
tiny
and all he
last
did was he
piece.
shoved a pocket knife in a crack and went tap, boom,
Yeah.
giant boulder
And it's
falls
like,
out of the way.
What was he expecting behind
Yeah,
there?
that's it.
It's like, what?
Yeah, because there's
this one's
chevrons.
blank.
a
There's
pink
chevrons
fluffy
in
rabbit? Like,
equal distances away from each other around this circular structure.
Yeah.
There are chevrons, and in the place where mathematically there should be another one, he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
what are the
It's
I
another
can't
chances?"
believe it. It's complete.
Like, what was he... Like, they'd already unearthed 30 of them.
All right, he was just geeking out like Jackson.
Maybe he thought like every time he mentioned there was another one, he was getting closer to getting with that woman. I don't know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
another one. She's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm warming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just at that first scene? And I don't know if you're going to
He's
say it or not,
like-
but
He's like, oh, I wonder what it is behind it.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder what this structure is. And then he gets rid of that last bit and he's like, it's a circle.
It's a stone ring!
it's a magnificent ring.
Oh, hey, I wonder what's underneath this
Speaking
bit.
of rings, hello.
I was going to ask, based off that first scene, how does the gate work? And I say because I've always thought the chevrons on the destination gate would just all light up at once and only just before the wormhole opened, right? Here, we're watching it, the wonder of the Stargate and the coercion, all that from their point of view. And they've never seen it happen before. So we're seeing it from their point of view. Here, the chevrons light up one by one, very slowly, and following the next cut where it goes back to the SGC, those are only lighting up on that planet as another new Walter is pressing them on the dialing computer. So
Another new Walter.
so if that's the case,
Old
wouldn't
Walter.
Walter's dad.
so if that's the case, they only light up when the SGC are punching them in. Wouldn't that mean that every gate out there with an address featuring that symbol
It would
in
light
it
up.
would light up until they put in a symbol that is foreign to that address? Like, you know, say you've got 6 planets, they all have that particular symbol.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. They put in second
That's true.
symbol, 3 of them die off because they don't have both of those symbols in their unique
I
address.
think it basically just comes down to the writer and the director because, there are definitely other episodes where it's just all 7 chevrons light up, Kawoosh,
Yeah.
incoming wormhole.
Depends
Yeah.
how fast.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like, I was thinking that too. Like, you'll always know it's Earth coming in if it's lighting up that slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas on a DHD one, yeah, you'll go
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because like
And
you
then
know,
obviously when we have an incoming wormhole, the gate spins.
Yeah.
Wasn't spinning off world because
No.
the only one that spins is the one that's in our gate room.
does it spin when we have an incoming wormhole?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Again, depending on the episode,
Yeah.
depending on. You know,
See, I found
what's
myself
happened.
thinking that
There's
because
no
I know
continuity
you guys were
behind it.
talking about that the other week with the fact that it's a rubber gate. So I think we were talking about pretense,
Mm.
and the fact that the location ones is a rubber gate. So of course it doesn't spin. And so when this didn't spin at the start, I'm like, of course it doesn't spin. Why would it? Because it's incoming, and they never spin when they're incoming. But yeah, I guess I probably
I
just
think-
never noticed.
I think the way they explain it on the wiki is because we don't have a DHD, it's an automatic manual dial.
Mm.
So you do have to turn the inner ring. Whereas if you got a
Right, yeah.
DHD, it's just like an automatic keypad. You go
Yeah.
beep boop beep boop beep.
Yeah.
So because
Cool.
Yeah,
it
I'd buy
doesn't
that.
need to spin for an incoming wormhole though. Like
No, it just looks cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I honestly I don't think I've ever
I
noticed
think
that.
half the time they do, half the time they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
right.
it's off world, it never spins. But if it's in our gate room, if it's incoming wormhole, sometimes it'll be
Yeah.
in very much in the earlier seasons because as the later seasons sort of push on and a lot of that sort of stuff is established. It's like there's a lot of time cuts just cutting around that sort of stuff, and it's just like
Yeah, I guess that's just what I found so weird about the fact that they made a real point of showing it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's like it's in my face. There's a
Yeah.
symbol
And-
lighting up,
You
and
can't
and it's
avoid it.
contradicting what you might have shown 2-3 weeks ago, a season ago.
Well, and it's also contradictory. It was very convenient timing that
Yeah, as
you
they
know, Carter's
Totally.
program
Yeah.
gets a positive hit
Yeah.
literally seconds after 9,
Yeah.
breaks off that a bit. But the whole premise
What'd
is
she
it's
call it?
like,
A cold case or something?
Yeah, cold dial program.
Cold dial, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole premise being is if you have something inside, the gate when it's shut off, you can't dial in. That gate's invalid. That's what the cover stones were. That's the whole reason you couldn't dial this gate is because the rocks are in the way, so the gate wouldn't dial up as a safety feature. But if you look closely at the way they've said it, there's jagged rocks like sticking through, like that definitely would still act as a cover stone.
Yeah.
But they've kind of just gone, it's fine. It's
How big
fine,
do you
we'll
think
do
it would need to be to make the gate inactive?
For me, I
like-
would say it'd have to encompass it because they don't give a shit about the vortex. Like the vortex is going to destroy anything that's standing in front of it. So
Yeah.
if you're
Like
talking
in the-
about safety, like it's an unstable vortex, they're like, we tried.
I'm
Like,
thinking
if
like
you bury
someone
it,
pulling
it
a
won't work,
prank
but
in the SGC, like go down and literally put like I'm holding a highlighter pen in my hand, just go and put that on the inside of the ring and walk
Yeah.
away. So
That'll
from
work.
the control tower, you're going, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's possibly wrong.
Well, if
Walter's
you-
there trying to figure it out.
if
and
you look
meanwhile-
at the ramp in Stargate Command, that
goes
flat.
through. Yeah.
From what I can tell, there's no gap.
No, there is. That's again one of the inconsistencies is that Stargate Command there is a little gap,
Right.
sort of for the wheel to spin and all that sort of stuff. With like there's the walkway, but then when you're off world and there's a gate in one of those stone pedestals,
Or in the
Yeah.
ground or something.
it's
flat.
definitely flat, and you can walk all the way
Same
through.
as in
There's-
Atlantis.
There's no gap there. Yeah. So
As
it's
well.
again one
In-
of those little
in-
just production
A couple
inconsistencies.
of weeks ago in 100 Days, that gate was buried. Right? So there would have been
Yeah.
like
So the
Dirt
way
and
that Carter
everything.
described it is the event horizon was still on, so the hardened.
yeah, so the Naquita, it was like a hardened Naquita over the top, but
Yeah.
they could still make
Yeah.
the wormhole. They just couldn't travel through because it was like an iris and you'd hit
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But surely if it's buried, then
Yeah,
it's going to be full of dirt on
No,
the
no,
other side.
because
If
if
the
you think about
if
it,
the wormhole,
if when we have our iris closed, people can still dial in. You just can't walk. You can still activate a wormhole.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it's laying down, the other side's laying on dirt, right? Or is it an iris on each side?
No. When in 100 days, when the gate fell,
Yeah.
the wormhole was still active. So any materials that would have been there would have gone through the gate or been obliterated.
Right, yeah.
and then the
okay.
magma and the Naquita settled as an iris, and then the gate deactivated and it cooled and set.
Yeah.
So there was that little tiny little sliver of bubble for them to be able to create a wormhole, but then there was an iris there that they couldn't travel through.
What interested me in this one, at the very start, bloody Nyan, when the wormhole opened, obviously SG1 or SGC were setting through the mount, and then 9. But before that happened, 9 touched it.
Touched what?
Touched the
event horizon.
event horizon.
Oh, yep.
Shouldn't that have hurt him in some way?
I think from what I think of it is, and you see it in the movie as well. I want to say there's like a 6-inch gap you have to enter the horizon in.
But remember last week when
Jack had his arm
Jack
through
had his
as
hand
well.
through with the gun, holding it open, and that was an incoming wormhole.
Yeah.
He was.
So
Yeah,
does it
right.
work?
It was-
Does it work the same both ends? Like you basically have to have the entire. Like if you're going out, you're going through a wormhole. You stick your hand in and bring it back out. It's not like that travels to the other side of the galaxy.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
get your full self go through
Well,
that.
Yeah,
it's
but that's
like
what I'm
the
saying.
entire-
Like it's obviously one-way travel, so you can't travel back through it.
Yeah.
Which is
so
what
it's like what we were saying last week, or the week before about. I think when you're taking a shit, it holds you in the buffer. So if 9 had just leapt into that open puddle, he would have been destroyed like the Malp was. But because he'd just put his hand in and touched it a little bit, because you remember Jackson did the same thing early on, and oh no, that was the wormhole going the other way. But yeah, like he was able to pull his hand back out again. But it's like if he'd have jumped in and it stored it as a whole item, then it would have just gone, well, I've got nowhere to send it. You're gone, mate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they covered that a little bit in an episode called 48 Hours.
Yeah, there's a lot of gate tech there.
Yeah.
And also in Atlantis in 38 Minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, that was cool.
years away for us.
That little bit of it was cool.
The tech that you guys did mention, the new tech. Now, he is actually... Oh, let me work this out. He is Richard Dean Anderson's stand-in. Like for when they're lighting the scenes and stuff like that.
Oh, the gate technician.
Yeah, the gate tech. That is
The Walter guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
The old guy. So he's actually a stand-in for Richard Dean Anderson when
He
they
seems
want to
pretty tall.
light a scene and stuff. He just seems to have the right facial. You should actually see the stand-in for Amanda Tapping. Looks nothing like her, but her facial structure is right enough that when they light her, it's the same as if they're lighting Amanda Tapping.
Right.
The one that really blows your mind is General Rhys, like the bad guy, like in this episode. He's got that one old guy to his left, like his little lieutenant. That's Daniel Jackson's stand-in.
What?
Yeah.
Hans Smolman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dang.
Does he must wear a wig then?
Do-rag.
Who knows?
He's got his own do-rag.
He actually comes back.
Carter's stunt double
he's
definitely wears a wig.
Yeah. He's in Revisions too. That Daniel Jackson's stand-in. Yeah.
I don't think. The stand-ins don't really matter that much, do they? Because I was a stand-in for Ricky Ponting, who's like Australia's cricket captain back in the day. I look nothing like him, and I'm taller than him.
Yeah.
And they gave me the job.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it didn't matter.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, this
So I'm like, they could have literally got anyone.
What's
Like,
he been?
I had the guy had the same color hair.
What's he
He
been
literally
lit for?
stood. He literally stood there and was speaking to someone else, and he's like, "Yeah, that's supposed to be me," and laughed at me, and I'm like, I turned to the Shane Warne lookalike. I'm like, "Who's this idiot?"
Yeah, well, there's in one of the later seasons, there's a special feature and it introduces you to a lot of the stand-ins. Teal'c stand-in actually has a really important speaking part in the 100th episode. Plays a really cool character. But yeah, they say they don't necessarily have to look like a person. They just have to have particular bone structure type or something like that. That when it is lit, light bounces off it the same way it does for the actor.
Right.
Yeah.
We're nearly 15 minutes in and we haven't mentioned one word about the actual story of this episode. And I feel the way that we actually approached the recording session today, it kind of sums up how at least you guys feel about the episode. I
I've
don't know
got a
about you,
note
Rhys,
here
but
saying frustrating episode,
Really is.
and it annoys me.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it the first time because it's a new Stargate episode. It's great. I don't care.
I like the premise of it.
Yeah.
The whole science versus religion thing.
Yeah.
I think it was really
yeah,
good
what we touched
setup.
on earlier. So I do have a couple of bits of audio here, and I've labelled them dangerous thinking and open thinking, and it is very much that blinded by religion kind of thing.
Yeah.
So first we've got the bad guy.
What if they're telling the truth? What if it is a gateway and the Optrikins are right?
No, it's a lie.
How can you be sure?
I am sure because we have not spent our lives praying to a god who does not exist.
Ooh, that'd
And
hurt.
many of our people have not lost their lives fighting a meaningless war. I won't accept that. I've studied the Book of Nefertum word for word, cover to cover. It is the truth.
What if it's not?
It is the truth. We began here.
That's super dark. Like
Just
and
because you don't want it to be true doesn't mean that you're correct.
Right? He's like, oh no, my entire life has been a waste.
Yeah.
Because I've been following these false sort of studies, and I've read this book cover to cover.
And that's
Mate,
what I
I've
liked.
read comic books cover to cover. I know they're fake. Like,
But that's what I liked about Nye, and he's talking to Teal'c, and then he's explaining, like, no, I'm a scientist. Like, if I get proven wrong, I don't care. Like, that's exciting.
yeah, it's amazing.
Teal'c, I'm a scientist. When I find evidence that my theories
Sounds
are
like a
wrong,
Daniel line.
it's as exciting as if they were correct. Scientific advance in either direction is still an advance.
Yeah.
Oh, geez,
Unless
the
you
crowd-
digress.
The crowd like that one. Oh,
At that point, I literally yelled at my TV, "Yeah, boy!"
It's
Yeah.
like, I hated you 9, but you're all right.
You're all right,
yeah,
guy.
I do like that when he's just like, okay, well, yeah, if I'm wrong, I like being wrong as much as I like being right because I'm learning.
I like proof, not
Yeah.
the idea of
Whereas
something.
the
I
other
haven't-
guy's just like, no, I'm not going to change my beliefs.
Yeah.
Not fact, but beliefs.
The proof is literally in front of your eyes, and you're
Yeah.
just denying
No,
it.
I'm denying
It's
it
it's
because
a projection.
It'll make me feel like I've wasted my time devoting my life to this
Yeah.
this fiction.
It's a lie because I don't want to be wrong.
And it's weird too, like if you've heard some of our recent chats, when we do get into the more religious aspects of this show and the real world, and we discussed
It's
our own
forced
feelings
upon
towards
us.
faith and religion and things. Yeah, but like we come at a point like, well, okay, yeah, black or white, we don't necessarily believe in that sort of stuff. And so we're coming at it from a more, okay, that's not real. What we believe is true. It's all factual. There's nothing out there, blah, blah, blah. It's weird because these guys, at least early on, the quote-unquote bad guys of this episode are people that don't believe in
That they were
God's
created.
God's bringing them there, that
Yeah.
God's had anything to do with it, and that their bad guys, the guys that we never end up meeting, are ones that believe that the God's brought them there and had a lot to do with. They really didn't have anything to do with their own creation. But then as it goes on, you realize they don't believe the main guys, the main bad guys, believe that we were always here, but it was because of a God. Like I don't know. It's very weird. Like you said, it's a science-first religion, but it's almost like they're both broken up into two different factions at the same time.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
they each swap. It's a really interesting, it's an interesting concept.
It's like a lot of villages that we've gone to before, and they believe that these Goa'ulds are gods and they created and blah blah blah. They'll come back, but the only difference is there's a group on another continent that says, well, no, that's not true. This is the truth. But so it's like every world we've seen before that think the Goa'uld are gods, except they've got opposition on the world. SG-1 aren't the opposition that come to them and go, well, what you believe is untrue.
Did the people in the other continents say that it was gods they thought brought them there, or did they just say that they were brought here
Through the gate.
through the gate?
Yeah, they were brought. Yeah, not necessarily gods or
Yeah.
anyone with a particular name or anything, but that someone brought them there. Yeah.
Yeah, which to me made them a little more sort of rational thinking. And,
Yeah.
and all they wanted was access to that area so they could see if what they thought was true and see if they could find
Yeah.
the gate. And sure enough,
I
no
would
one
have
found it.
loved to have met those guys. I mean, maybe they would have come and met SG-1 and been just as against
Skeptical.
them and skeptical and who they were and why they were there and things. It's like, well, we had our own theories about who would walk through that gate or what that gate would be, and it wasn't you.
Well, I
so
think-
Yeah, it
we're
wasn't
against you as
human.
well. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. Is we almost, and it sticks in with the theme we've seen over the last few seasons, is very early next season we see almost a better version of this episode. It's called The Other Side, and I almost feel it's almost kind of what you're looking for, Mitch. I won't ruin anything for it, but
Yeah, I actually
Is that
thought
with the heavy water?
yeah.
I thought it was that episode going in. When I read the
Okay.
synopsis on the back of the DVD, I said, "Oh, yeah, there's two warring factions and blah blah
Mate,
blah."
you guys need to embrace yourselves when we get to the other side.
For the longest time, very early on, straight away, when what did Rygar,
The bad general guy.
Bad general,
with the
yeah.
weird limp, yeah.
when he first showed up, I'm like,
Reminds me of the guy from Starship Troopers with the little fake leg.
"Oh, you're right."
Michael Ironside.
Well, for me, it reminded me. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, Bruce Campbell's in this episode."
Yeah.
And then I kept watching. I'm like, "Oh no, it's not." And then I'd watch more. And I'm like, "It fucking is Bruce Campbell. He just hasn't got the Bruce Campbell voice. And I was back and forth almost the entire episode. He just wasn't as much fun as Bruce Campbell, but I thought it was almost like a cameo in the light
That would've been good.
of Flash Gordon from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like, throw in that other sort of cult hero. That would have been really cool. But then I wouldn't have taken his threat seriously if it was Bruce Campbell. I'm like, this guy'll be all right. He'll come around. But he really didn't. And like, I liked how it ended in this massive battle, and the fact that the Stargate opens up and it's like reinforcements or whatever, our guys jumping back through mid-battle and all that. Like, that was all cool to watch, but it just felt like this episode didn't have a climax, or at least the one that I expected, and I shouldn't judge it based on my own expectations while I'm watching it.
Matt,
but
we all want a good climax.
Well, for me, it was kind of like, okay, SG-1, 3 members of SG-1 get captured, Teal'c gets blind, and then for 10 minutes, Nine's going, I can't give you the treatment now, we're just going to have to wait. We waited in real time. That's how it felt to me. And it's like, Teal'c's got sore eyes.
That freaked me out when Teal'c was actually getting scared. And I'm like, shit, they're in trouble if Teal'c's getting scared.
Yeah.
Like, that was full on.
Do you know what I found the most just unsettling part about that whole thing is when Teal'c is like wrist deep in his own pouch.
Wasn't that
yeah.
I'm just
disturbing?
like,
I had to rewind that to
Fist in
see
his
how they
pouch.
did it.
it's like giving yourself your own prostate exam or something. It's like,
And to think
Totally.
how, not afraid, but how reluctant the show is to show that
Graphic,
makeup
yeah.
effect, because it's
Yeah.
obviously takes time and money and all that,
and a lot of KY.
in a lot of KY, and yet they show him and he's just sort of like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, just sitting there shirtless, laying up against the wall, just full fisting his own guts. And I'm
And
like,
what made it
the
feel
hell?
more dirty is when bloody Nine came back in and he quickly took his hand out of his
Yeah.
pouch and
I'm not doing anything.
put his
No,
shirt
but-
back
But I
on.
have got a slimy hand. Hand me a towel, please.
I wish you had have got that audio, Maddie, because you hear this,
Yeah.
and the Nine comes in and goes, "What are you doing?"
Nothing.
Get that out of yourself.
Weird too, because last night I watched that. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's the season
what were you
3,
watching? Tell us more.
season 3 episode of Black Mirror, where it's about a young kid who's been filmed while he's jerking it to porn online, and people use that against
Season
him.
2?
Season 3, episode 3.
Did season 4 just come out then?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what
Jerking
you're
a
talking
chain.
I watched the first episode of that and I'm just like,
The pig fucker.
oh man.
It's
my missus
depressing.
told me to watch the show and I'm just like, what the fuck have you got me watching? She goes, oh yeah, I should have told you not to watch the first episode.
Oh no, I
That's
threw myself into
That's one of the best ones, actually. It's
No,
Can't wait
honestly,
to
I
watch
mean,
another 4 seasons.
honestly,
Up.
I'd press on, man. It's fucking good. Like I,
depressing though. Like
actually,
Ben
you know what?
Clayton, who
The-
works here,
really
he's
depressing.
actually cut off all social media after watching it. Like he doesn't have.
that was
Facebook,
what the Bryce Dallas
Instagram.
Howard episode. I watched that the other
Yeah.
night, and I come in and told you guys, no, that was the episode that just made me switch
Yeah.
off.
Because what is it?
It's
It's
Like
No.
your social standing online, people go around and you've got like almost you got.
Yeah.
It's like
Imagine
they've
if
given you laser
Instagram
eye
and-
treatment, and I can look at you and see that you're a 3.8, and it's up to a 5 system, and you're a 3.8, whereas I look at him and he's a 4.1. I'm like, well, he's a better person, And
Yeah.
I meet you and you're a nice guy, I fucking swipe up
It's
and
like
you
if,
get credits.
If
and,
Instagram and Uber ratings like really mattered, like your life depended on it, the type of job you could get, the type of money you could
House you could
how
buy.
people looked at you, like
Yeah.
it's
But
like,
everyone's
it's
so
like,
fake to each other because it's like, oh, if you're really nice, then I'm going to swipe you up, and everyone's so fake. But they're honestly really good.
Stepford Wives.
most of them, I would say 90% of the first 3 seasons are super depressing, and you want to slit your wrists up.
Because they're English,
fuck.
right?
Yeah, the first 2 seasons are in.
Yeah,
That
they know
Bryce
how to
Dallas
be
Howard
depressed.
episode, and then there's
That
a
was
Proper depressed.
There's another episode that season about sort of a lesbian couple that's sort of meeting over time and stuff.
Oh, that's
got,
the next one I've got to watch,
got
actually.
quite
It's
a
episode
nice
4,
happy
yeah.
ending to it. But the newest season, even if you skip to the first episode of season 4, it's the Star Trek knockoff one. Bringing it around to Star Trek again. Season 4 is much less depressing. Like there's actual hopeful endings at the end of it. Where you just go, oh, okay, So if you fast forward to that,
If you are going to
the American dream, that's what it is.
if you are
Has
going to
to
push
be
on like
some
that
hope at
first
the end.
episode, the pig one, the next one I really struggled through season 1, episode 2.
which one was that?
That like he's just on a running machine the whole time.
Oh, shit,
Oh yeah,
that was
that's
hard.
the guy from.
that was like the Fly episode of
the guy
Breaking
from,
Bad for me.
The guy from Get
Yeah.
Out. That's the same guy. That's the guy from Get Out.
Daniel Kaluuya?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it might be actually. I think I did.
Because that's where I recognised him when I first saw the
post for Get Out.
post for Get Out. I was like, that's the guy from.
no, that
Black
was a
Mirror.
fucking
I
tough
liked
episode.
the robot one
Yeah, Peggy
Yeah.
Carter.
where her
Yeah,
husband
and
dies.
that weird redheaded dude.
Yeah,
that
Domhnall.
was hectic.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
hectic.
yeah.
Anyway.
Welcome
push
to Beam
on.
into Black Mirror.
Yeah. No, seriously, no, I'd push on, but miss episode 2 of season 1. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Don't
It's not even worth it.
don't binge them all. Like one a
Oh, I
week,
don't.
or you, especially at
Palate
the moment,
cleanser in
because
a
you
way.
get a lot of downtime.
And kill yourself.
If you watch, if you watch more than like 2 or 3 in a week, you will want to off yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it's so
Clayton gave me like a
depressing.
list of all the TV he wants me to watch. He's like,
What a great show!
He's like, binge this, binge this, binge this.
Watch it.
He's like, you got to watch 3 seasons of Black Mirror. He goes, watch one of them for every 6 other shows you. He goes,
Yeah.
watch any other 6 you want, whether it's 2 of this, 3 of that, or 6 of one show. He goes, but only ever do one Black Mirror at a time, like one a day. He said,
Yeah.
it's too much.
It's hard.
They're all standalone, right?
Yeah.
Or every single
Sort
one
of.
still?
Every now and then there'll be a little touchstone sort of
Right.
Kind
like
of,
a song or a particular piece of
Like an
technology
Easter egg or something.
yeah, and then there's one I think the end of season 2 or maybe the end of season 3 that is actually it's sort of 3 stories in one, and it's kind of wraps up other story. Yeah, so it's some of them do, some of them
Fuck
don't.
that Christmas one.
So,
Yeah, that's the one.
back to this episode, this wonderful episode of Stargate. They send them out through, and then Nine's like, "Yeah, come through, Daniel." And Old Love, what was her name?
Oh, runaway bitch. Who we never
Malin.
seen.
But she takes off, right? To tell on him. Like, why wouldn't you just wait to see what comes through?
Yeah, I thought you were a
Yeah.
scientist.
Yeah, at
And
least
there's a-
hide
Yeah.
in the, at least hide in the bushes and
Yeah, and have
from
a look.
afar.
There's a weird inconsistency too because it's because she ends up arriving on the transport ship with
Yeah,
the general and stuff.
miles away.
Yeah, so
Like,
it's like
so far.
Did she run somewhere
She's a
to like a
decathlon.
communication area and then she's reported it and they've scooped and picked her up on the way through? Or did she run
Yeah.
all the way to wherever that guy
The other
was?
side of the continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't that a surprise too? Because when we see that, like, he's got his pocket knife and it magically cracks rocks open, but beyond that, they're sitting there. It's
Snack
almost,
with it, mate.
it's
Snack
almost
with
like they're
it.
wearing canvas, like Luke Skywalker and Tatooine, right? And they don't look that advanced. And they send them out through. Daniel's talking to this bloke, and he goes, General, I think we should go through and talk to these people. They're like, well, we haven't seen a DHD, we haven't got this, we
Yeah.
don't know anything about the planet. And he goes, well, based on the technology, they looked almost as advanced as we are. And I'm like, he's got a fucking pocket knife. You see literally nothing else.
Yeah,
It
he's
looks
got
like
clothes. He's got
Yeah,
clothes.
he
Got a
is,
paintbrush
he
in
is
his top
dressed,
pocket.
and he can kind of talk.
Yeah, I want that paintbrush. That's what Daniel's thinking.
Like, he's just showing they're advanced, and we go through the gate, and all of a sudden they've got like 3 hovercraft coming along, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
that,
they're
like,
they're already more
project
advanced than
force
we are.
fields,
Like,
and they've got those the stun guns that look like whippersnippers.
yeah.
It's exactly what I
And-
thought.
Mate, I used to work at a hardware store. We fucking sold those. I guarantee
He
you.
just painted it.
They were electric.
See, here I was thinking like their evolution of weaponry, rather than us, the way that we've come in the last 100 years, they've went from bayonets straight to laser weapons.
Yeah.
It's like just
Yeah.
merge the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either
And
shoot them
then-
from afar or having to stab them with a melee
Also,
weapon.
old mate had a Zat gun. Would that just be like O'Neill's Zat?
Well,
Yeah.
Can we
O'Neill doesn't
shoot
carry one. I think Teal'c and Carter carry it because Carter has Jolinar. So she has.
It was on the table. Remember, he went
Yeah.
into the room
Yeah.
and all this shit
Oh,
was
All
on
the
the
shit
table.
laid out. So I reckon.
How do you know what it did though?
Yeah, he knew
Oh,
exactly how to
fairly
open it up,
straightforward.
and you have
No,
because
because he shot the other dude with Teal'c. Must have been Teal'c's one.
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the bad dude. The
Remember, and he fires it at
The
at
cage.
Jack's
he
cage.
shot. He shot Daniel. He shot.
Yeah, it would have been
Carter.
Carter's.
Yeah, it would have been Carter's.
Yeah.
But like, how did he? Like, how?
Yeah, he
for
picked
all
it up
knew,
on-
Two buttons on it.
but for all he knew, you shoot them and they're dead.
Yeah.
For all he knows, it's an explosive. He doesn't know that's a gun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's like picking up one of their handguns and just pulling the trigger and shooting a hole through the ceiling. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he didn't know what he didn't know that.
Or
it was
looking in the barrel. What does this do?
Yeah, he didn't know that it was a 2-stage weapon that he had to open
Yeah.
it to activate it
Yeah.
and then fire it. It's
And,
like
and knew how to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
and
then
knew
closed
that
it when he was done.
and then knew that it wouldn't just obliterate Jack in one shot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
imagine if like it was just the staff weapon and he's just opened up the staff weapon and fired it and
Yeah.
it's blown Jack's head off.
And he's dead.
And what happens if the blast didn't go through the gate? What if it hit the gate and then all of a sudden it wasn't electrical anymore?
Yeah,
Like he just broke his own little gate.
yeah, exactly.
Or instead of like Carter gets shot and she just sort of slumps forward and is unconscious. Jack gets hit, sends him into the side of the cage, and he's for the
Stuck
next
on
30
the
seconds just getting electrocuted.
Yeah.
And I feel like Daniel, I wish you got that audio where it's like it's Daniel asking for something, but he's not really putting everything into it. He's like, "Oh, come on, you're killing him." I'm like, you don't give a
Oh,
fuck,
no.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just got all of Jack's sarcasm, even though he's like captured in a cat
Yeah.
cage.
Yeah.
He's still
Big
being a
words.
sarcastic bastard.
You know that whole "we come in peace" thing?
Mm,
Suck a
yeah,
dick.
just
Back to the DH.
just back to the stunner for a minute, just as a bit of across the universe, but not really.
Uh-huh.
That that prop is actually, well, very similar to it, is what they're actually bringing in, I think, season 2 or 3 of Atlantis as a Wraith stunner.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
But it is different. isn't
Slightly different, but
Yeah.
very, very similar sort of shape. I think
Yeah.
it's just sort of a retool of the same prop.
it? Yeah. Back to the DHD, because Hammond's like, they got no DHD. It's like, we'll be fine. Take a knack with a generator.
generator.
And then they're like, Carter spend. They don't try to set it up immediately in case they need to get out of it. It's like, all right, Carter, dial it up. It's going to take 5 minutes. Like, you should know that. It's part of the brief.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't
what
have
the
it. Like, this is literally the first time
Yeah,
we're taking
and Jack's
it.
like, why didn't we just drive a Jeep through? That would have been quicker.
Honestly, I just
Magic vines, anyone?
Yeah.
I was really surprised with how quick Hammond agreed to that. It was just no DHD. Pff, you'll be right. Take that generator thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He doesn't understand it either. He's like, that's a remote DHD. That's fine.
He's asked him 4 times already, and he doesn't want to ask him a 5th time. He's like, I'm the general.
Yeah, he's asked 4 different people once, but now he's had to come back to
And
the
they're not
first
really
person.
sure either. So just give him a half-ass answer.
He's like, oh shit, if I ask, Carter's going to pull out an apple. And
Yeah.
it's just going to be one of those condescending
And a donut.
conversation, Yeah.
What pissed me off is that he didn't send the rescue team through. Like, I get that old mate's like, if you try it, we'll kill him. But I'm like, you'd literally just send 4 teams through.
Yeah. Or
Wouldn't you?
like,
Like,
why don't they have a tank that they can just go like that?
Yeah, but like,
An armored
What
tank.
about that one
That'd be
from
sick.
Forever and a Day where it's the mount that's got
Yeah.
the gun turret on it? and you
Yeah.
just drive that through.
because like, if you don't send someone through, then they're captured. What's going to happen to them anyway?
Yeah,
You
they're
know what I mean?
SG-1,
Like,
yeah.
they'll get out of it. They'll be right.
That would
Done
be
it
sick.
before.
Though. Like
Yeah,
for every
they said
Jafar they kill, they take the staff weapon and just throw it onto this little makeshift tank. There's like 20 of them. Just,
Oh, it's totally, yeah.
just like in a circular. You could send the middle of a pack of guys and just shoot every single.
Why don't
one
they
of
have
them.
guns on the mount? That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
Like automatic guns, remote controlled guns.
Or like a little stunner,
Yeah.
like
They're trying-
R2D2
Yeah.
has, just to zap,
Yeah.
Yeah.
zap
They're
somebody.
trying to appear peaceful, even though they've got like guns strapped to their entire
They
body.
sent through like the ugliest looking robot. Like
Yeah,
even
it's
what's his
shit.
name?
So shit.
Zion. What's the main bloke's name? Sideburns.
Nyan.
Nyan.
Sideburns lady.
Sideburns. Well, he's sideburns from now on.
And he looks at, he's like, "Are you a machine or whatever?" He's like, "No, I'm speaking. I'm communicating to you through this." And I'm like, "But you're looking at it." I'm like, it kind of looks like it could be a robotic sentient creature of some
Yeah.
description
Yeah.
because it's like
They
doesn't.
should put an LCD screen on it or something to show
Yeah.
the video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feedback.
just ran an HDMI cord through the through the gate.
Like Teal'c did last
shit.
week. Or 100 days, whatever that was.
Are you excited though, Teal'c, now that
Teal'c, you
What?
excited?
Indeed.
He loved it. Call him Teal'c again.
are you,
Now I'm horny.
are you excited now, Rhys, that Daniel has a research assistant?
I was going to ask you about that. Do we ever see him again?
And
He's
we
never
never
seen
see
him
him again.
And the weirdest part is they bring that actor back in
Yeah, I was wondering
Atlantis
about that.
Oh, really?
As a different guy.
as a different character.
Wow.
And it's like, you could have made him that guy. Like, you could have made him
Yeah.
that guy be a part
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
Atlantis
that would've been
expedition.
sick.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Because then you're like, what has he been doing for the last like 8 years
Yeah.
or whatever? You
Yeah.
know that
He's
he-
just been cataloguing
What is
Daniel
that
Jackson's
black thing
stuff.
that Daniel gives him at the end? Like, what is that and why is it
It's
significant?
just a book.
Is
it?
it?
I think.
I don't know, it's just this big black box with a weird little...
Yeah, and what did he say? There's ancient artifacts that he hasn't gotten around to
Oh,
yet.
I think
Yeah.
it was the history of Nefertum or whatever that.
Oh,
Nefertum,
okay.
the Goa'uld.
Oh.
I think.
Right,
I don't know. I
yeah.
kind of phased out. I'm like, this is near the end.
Yeah, because he said you might be able to learn something about your ancestors. Or
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay.
I
'Cause,
think,
yeah, I couldn't identify it as like a book or a box.
yeah, it was
or
like a box.
It was
a
weird.
Box,
for,
yeah.
for a second, I thought he'd brought back those Dave Strum. No, not Dave Strum
Yeah.
Institute. The remember he gave that little box
Hagen.
to Hagen Institute box to like Freya and all those other people and
Mm.
stuff. For a second, I thought it was one of those, and I was just like, "What? What are you giving that guy?" I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's in a hospital bed, man. Give him a break.
Yeah.
All right, get to
Well, he had
work.
a bump on the head, the little bitch. Get up.
I saw her in the bed and I'm like, oh, what did happen to you? Because I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Teal'c.
he got shot by the whippersnipper.
Teal'c's like cop one in the face and then talk
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Blind and then talk
Totally.
to me.
You can still see, mate. Like, calm down.
I love it how they get back to the SGC and Fraser's like, Junior did the trick. It's like, I thought Junior was...
He's dying. That was the whole point of...
Yeah.
Why else was Teal'c wrist deep in his pouch?
Yeah, and getting
And
shot
when
in the eye.
when Teal'c came back through, like, Fraser's just gone, I'm going all in.
Totally. He pulls his
Did she?
shirt out.
Yeah, she just went straight in to check on Junior.
Jesus.
I'm going, do you even, like, what are you doing? Like, just...
Oh, she wasn't checking the symbiote.
she was just
She was
horny.
checking Junior.
She's in some weird shit.
I'm so glad you're home, Teal'c.
He's a quick one. And Teal'c
Right
doesn't
on the
know who
road.
it is. He's like, who's doing that?
Yeah, how strange would that be? She doesn't announce herself. It's all of a sudden someone's hands inside him. Like,
He thought it's Walter.
Junior pops out and she's like feeding it like a little cheese cube. She goes, who's a cute little Junior? Who's a cute little Junior?
I did like, I don't know if I liked them. In Teal'c's cave, there was the alien bats with tails.
yeah.
I just thought that was
Yeah,
just
what was the deal
random,
with those?
random. So random.
Like flying sperm again.
But it did make me think of what those bats would be called and what their comic books would be, like like Nefertum bats or Nefertum man.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
Something of that dad joke I made last week isn't look too bad.
Do we ever
No,
meet
it's still pretty bad. It's still pretty bad.
Nefertum or a version of Nefertum?
No.
Like,
No.
what's the? Is it Neferti or Nefertiti? What's the actual name from
Oh, the
chick. The mythology of-
Nefertiti.
Nefertiti? Yeah,
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's
Yeah.
a
I should know it,
Egyptian.
like, because I'm my.
I
Favorite
don't think she was a god. I think she was like a pharaoh's wife or
something like that. I only know, like Phantom. He's my
I'm-
boy. He's
I'm
my
Googling
superhero.
furiously here.
He has 2 dolphins because he owns a fucking island. He owns
Yeah.
half of Africa,
He's
but
got
he's
2 dolphins.
he's got 2 dolphins, mate. Solomon and Nefertiti.
Oh, that's
Ah.
I've known those names.
that
I
makes sense. Yeah, here we go. Akhenaten, he was a pharaoh, Nefertiti, and that was his wife.
Yeah, right. Okay. I
Wow.
had that name, and I'm like, oh, do we meet like, is Nefertum like the ancient Gould that brought these
Yeah.
people to the? And then like in season 8, we meet Nefertiti as a female Gould, offspring to him or
That'd be
wife or
cool.
something
or
like
she
that.
changed
yeah.
hosts.
Yeah, something like that. I had a memory, but obviously not.
Yeah, she was the queen of Egypt.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, I liked the I don't know if I liked it. They did the cage montage where they kept the same shot,
Oh
the
yeah.
same
Oh, yeah, that was
cage,
weird.
and they all kind of went in and out. I'm like, are they interrogating them individually, or are they
Yeah.
still in each other's cages, or
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
it was
I-
like a kind of a montage, and they're all
Yeah.
saying
Yeah,
the
you
same
You
sentence.
sort of
was
see it
weird.
in cop shows where they'll like have
Yeah.
2 or 3 suspects and they'll show you
oh,
the
where
cop.
they did
Yeah.
the Brady Bunch thing. They did
yeah,
the...
kind of. It wasn't Brady.
It was
Bunch,
like, yeah,
but-
just like single shots, like single frames on the screen. But yeah, you,
Was
the
it?
cop, asking Brendan a question. He answers. You go back, you ask
Yeah.
another question. But instead of being Brendan, it's Rhys answering, you know,
Yeah.
and
And it's the same cage and
in
it's
the same spot.
Same
it's
shot.
the
Same
same
background, yeah.
shot. They've just swapped places basically and
Yeah.
said the same lines.
And like, it looks cool from an editing point of view. I'm like, oh, that's different. But then I'm like, well, thinking about it logistically, like
Pointless.
in story,
Yeah.
are they removing the other 2 from the room,
Yeah.
Or,
or
did
are they
take
taking
them to a
that?
different room where there's
Yeah.
a
There's another
fourth
cage with a
cage?
with a
Yeah.
identical
Like,
background.
and it's a lot of O'Neill's like joking banter to the bad guy as well, which is kind of mixed in.
yeah,
I'm
with
going-
like Sam and Daniel
Yeah.
answering seriously.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
I was like, imagine if we were kind of explaining that. It's like a big ring. You can do a shit in it if you want. I don't know.
Send it to any planet you want.
Trust us, send us back and we'll send one back to you
Yeah.
just to prove it.
Yeah, we might piss on you.
I
You never know.
Who knows?
something I did notice is with the whole. Well, I should have brought it before, but we were talking about the whole Nakoda generator. How they sort
Yeah.
of bring that, and that was a real linchpin for why this mission got the green light.
Yeah.
Well, this episode was written by the same chick who wrote Learning Curve, Heather E.
Ah,
Ash.
okay.
So I feel like that was her just going, yeah.
Remember the Neco
Remember
generators?
that Necron generator I invented? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to use
Well,
it now.
They left all their shit there, right? They didn't
Yeah.
get time
Yeah.
to bring it all back.
So
So
I
they're-
reckon that's
so
on
They're
that
what
going to
one
blow
episode.
themselves up with that Nakoda generator. It's
And
going to
we never
friggin'
saw the
Totally.
entire
Yeah.
continent again.
It's going to be just
So
on a
do we?
loop.
So does SGC have another one of those?
Oh yeah, mate. We
Sure.
got heaps.
It's a whole cupboard full.
Yeah,
If they're letting Carter
it's
take
them
that
and
one.
Malps just stacked up
Yeah.
in a storage container.
I don't
Like,
know where that came from.
Major, go down to the Malp room.
That's why they had to. We talked about the other week, Brendan. That's why they had to move the infirmary because they just had to
Yeah.
have another room close to the
Yeah.
Stargate where they needed more.
That's why they have to
storage.
share a change room,
Yeah.
I
men and women.
think there is actually a shot in one of the later seasons, and it's a multi-purpose room that looks like a garage, and you just see a bunch of Malps just parked, and like Carter's doing
really?
some work on one or something like that.
That's good.
It's
oh
pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. So, just talking about nerdy Stargate stuff, I was looking at the fandom to try and there is 39 symbols on the inner ring of the Milky Way gate.
And then 38 symbols on a DHD.
Yes.
So a gate always has one extra symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they can't, that they can't
they
use
did
to
the
dial. No, because
yeah,
the point of origin has to be on the DHD as well.
So the inner ring rotates
course, yeah.
until the dialed symbol is aligned with the seventh chevron, which we know. At which point the ring pauses, the seventh chevron moves down and up, and the appropriate blah blah blah. So the mathematics they've got here is with 38 symbols on the DHD, the Stargate network in the Milky Way has 38 times 37 times 36 times 35 times 34 times 33, which equals 1,987,690,320 possible addresses.
Yeah, possible combinations.
Possible addresses, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, combinations of symbols, yeah.
Yeah, so theoretically you could have that many gates out
yeah.
there. in
No,
this-
see, to me, I've always said they couldn't be, because that's like going, okay, well, if you take our address and switch the 5th and the 6th symbol, that's not going to get you anywhere.
yeah.
Like, no way is someone going to have an address that similar to ours.
Yeah, but if that's what Brennan's saying, if there's enough gates, you could be.
Oh, you could.
If
yeah,
you
could
dial
do
my
it.
home phone number but switch the last 2 digits around, you're going to
You're
call
gonna
someone
call
else
someone.
Oh, yeah.
close to where I live.
Yeah, but me personally, I just don't think there's that many out there, given that it took so... Oh, yes, you can argue Stellar Drift, but given that it took so long, like, we were back in the 40s, we were just punching in combinations of
Yeah.
places to try and get, and
Yeah.
never
Stellar Drift,
came
bro.
up with anything.
Stellar
Like,
Drift.
so many combinations resulted in nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why, because there's billions. But yeah, you're right. Like, obviously, there'd be less than that. There'd be less
Yeah.
gates around. But I just thought
Yeah,
that was,
they'd have to be.
that's a lot. That's a bigger number than I thought possible.
Mm.
Nearly 2 billion.
Yeah, I should have just said 1.9 billion, but it was down to the
All those...
down to the single digits. So I
all
had
those
to be
addresses
correct.
and that poor man's Walter still things up really, really easily.
Walter's dead.
Chevron 4 locked.
No. No. Chevron 4 is not locked.
And that was his first line, right? 'Cause
Yeah, it
we
was.
watched the
That's
other
his own
three line
line.
up. Yeah, right. Chevron for a lock. Oh, damn it. Now get the fuck off set.
Yeah. I mean,
Redial.
like, go back and listen to like the 5th race when Rhys is losing his mind over the point when Walter's there and he goes, Chevron 7 encoded? And like, that's the whole big thing. And it's like, no, Chevron 8 is locked and he's like Chevron 4 locked. It's like,
Yeah,
Oh,
come on,
we're
mate.
just going next door
Shut
by the look of it.
Actually, I liked Daniel's nerdy bit when I can't remember who it was. Oh, yeah, it must have been the bad general guy mentions Nefertum, and he goes like Nefertum, and he rambles off all this knowledge, blue blossom or some
Like
shit. I'm
Teal'c
like,
oh, Blue Lotus Blossom or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
I go, what? This guy's so good. Like he just knows it all, and he nerds out whenever he can just
Yeah.
ramble his
Give me any
jargon.
topic, any question of any time.
Yeah.
Have you got a minute?
Apart
I'll
from
tell
what fate Amarokra, I have no idea about that.
you. That's what I loved when Nyan was talking to Teal'c. And he's like, no, this is our God, this is who they say created us. And Teal'c's like, I fought him in battle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could just like, if I was Nyan, I'd just be like, oh my God, you are a God. Like, you're an alien God. Like, I'd just be like, you fought my God in a
demigod.
battle.
Yeah.
And
you're thinking
obviously
about
you
like
won.
up in heaven with like flame swords and they're
Yeah.
flying around.
Riding majestic beasts with
Yeah.
wings.
Yeah.
Fought him in battle. What?
Yeah.
You did? Bullshit. You're full of shit.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah. What do you look like?
Pix.
Are you taking me? Show me.
Yeah. Did you win? What happened?
Send pics. All right. It's that time of the Month.
Oh,
Journey.
let's never say it like that again.
It's time for the Get Into Geek.
Harry
Mailbag.
Monthly.
Well, who wants to kick it off? We've got some absolute brilliant responses and correspondence, if I can use a $3 word.
What? 3-syllable word?
I'm just trying to buy time while I open my phone.
Yeah, same. I'm like, oh yeah, I was not prepared for this.
I've realised I can't actually do a Mitch and just talk until things make sense. Like, I can't.
Mate, even Mitch
It's a
can't do
skill.
that.
It's a skill.
So, I was trying my hardest the other day to figure out Twitter. I've had an account since like 2010, and I've never done anything.
Oh,
with it.
start following you. What's your account?
It's
No.
probably High Pitch Matty. I don't know.
I don't know.
Good sting.
I so I it's still shit. Like I still think Twitter's shit. Like I still, but
Brilliant, mate.
I
Brilliant.
managed
does,
to
mate.
find some old stuff that we'd actually missed, like some old sort of bits of correspondence.
Well, I doubt that. If you don't know how it works, then how would you know where to look
Like
or what
I said,
it
I
is?
said to the guys before we started recording, I was just like mashing my phone and things were happening. So
Just pushed everybody. What do you mean? What did we miss?
okay, so back for A Matter of Time, back in season 2.
Jesus
This
Christ.
is in August of last year. We were actually, and I went back and listened to the episode. We were actually giving some shit in Matter of Time about the shaped charge that we
yeah.
were like, that's made up. That's not a thing. Well, David Clark, who is at Disco Dave Clark, actually sent us a Wikipedia link to shaped charges. They're an actual thing. Like I started.
We weren't giving shit. It was you.
Ah,
and you
no,
said,
I'm
isn't that a rocket?
I'm pretty sure we all jumped on board that train, mate.
Well, you're the smartest here, so we just agreed.
When did I become the smartest one here? Like
You always were.
Didn't,
That's
wait,
why we cut you down so
wait,
hard.
didn't you three go to? I went to public school. Didn't you three go to a private school?
No, Catholic school.
Oh, okay. that's
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah, our Catholic school is just somewhere that our parents spent a lot of money for us to not learn
Yeah, they
anything.
obviously paid a lot for their education. For
I like football.
I was going to say, I guess you three are all counting on those football scholarships, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So back in December, Sarah H at Fat Nerd Fit, who's going to talk.
She's OG. She's
She's
Sarah's been
one
around
of the
for a
OGs.
long
She's been
time.
back for a while. Which this must have been from our Origins chat that Rhys we banned him from because we were talking spoilers. But she says thanks to she's tagged Stargate Command in it. So
I'm sure they'll be
Good
pleased.
girl.
thanks to you guys, good father gets it on with Catherine and they have a baby girl. Can't shake it. It's gospel now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We all agreed it can't get better than
Speaking of OG, I got one from the OG, original Goa'uld. Yeah, mate.
The OG.
Peter Williams at actual Apophis.
that. Yeah,
This is
buddy.
So cool.
So Mitch tagged Pete on
Pete,
on the socials.
my mate,
Our
my
good
mate
friend
Pete.
Pete. Like,
Me and P-Dog.
P-dubs.
like
Yep.
when we're having
P-dubs.
drinks with Pete, sometimes I call him Poff, just short for Apophis.
Puff, he loves
What's up,
it.
my Poff?
Sup, Poff.
Are you Puff?
Sup, Poff.
So Mitch
Yeah.
Mitch tagged him on one of our posts saying something about Apophis.
Oh, I was back
is
in
the
Joe and
most-
I's memories,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
'cause
be
that was, when
reminded
when
about
Apophis
why
came back.
Apophis is the best Stargate
Yeah.
villain.
Yeah.
Listen
And-
to this episode if you'd missed it.
Yeah.
Someone tried to say it was Baal, which I'm just like, oh, I don't know about that.
Look, I got a lot of time for Bowl.
Look, I haven't met Bar yet, but I can assure you,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Apophis
I mean,
is the
yes,
best.
he's got a South African accent, which is pretty cool, but he's
who
got
doesn't?
nothing on the OG Apophis.
Yeah, so then I kind of replied to our Get Into Gate on my personal Twitter account and said, bro, Apophis' boss, OG, original Goa'uld. So at that point, my mate Pete,
My good mate Pete.
he replies with, you never forget your first Goa'uld. I'm like, fell off my fucking chair. So yeah, we've been catching up. We'll
Solid
catch up
goals.
later
Yeah,
after season 4.
yeah.
And just,
Just having some popcorn chicken.
like, we've actually never...
Oh,
Oh, I apologise. That was just for me. That was just one for me.
No, well, it
No,
definitely
you're
wasn't
good.
for anyone else. though.
well, after our foothold chat, the opening was you explaining your mum's password,
Oh, God.
Catherine Power's password on her, on her laptop, about her dog Gizmo. Well, Sarah Rebecca Bell messaged us and said, "Hey, Maddie, Here is my mum with her dog Gizmo. Keep up the good work, boys. And it's actually a
Give us a
picture.
look.
It looks like the same dog.
No, that's cute. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I've actually got one from Sarah here too. Going back in the archives, I've got one here from Sarah Rebecca Bell on Twitter. I think you guys might have done this as just a nice one for me because she actually tweeted it on my birthday, the 14th of September. And she says, except for Maddie's terrible opinions on Stargate episodes, he's my kindred spirit in being a know-it-all on Star Trek and Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
So I feel like you guys tried to spare my feelings on that one and just never read it.
And look, not to
Well, didn't want to give you the credit. Oh, no.
not to keep plugging Sarah, but I was just going to go to our recent reviews through our Facebook page. We got a 5-star review from Sarah Rebecca Bell. So yeah, 5 stars. Love listening to these boys. I was sad when I caught up, but now I reward myself with this podcast every week, which is good because we're always worried about people that are picking it up at this stage and we're at like episode 60 and they're like, oh, we're smashing through the podcast. I'm like, slow down because we only do one every 7 days.
Yeah.
We don't want you to lose interest in us
At
at like that
And some of our
6-day
early
mark.
ones, not great. Not
Yeah,
great.
you know, we got there. And then
Getting better every week.
a couple of weeks ago, Damien Edwards gave us a 5-star review as well. Thank you, Damien. Said, love the podcast. Very funny, guys. Makes my hours in the car way better. So
Well,
thanks, Damo.
Just back to Sarah. Sarah, for all your correspondence, we'd like to reward you. So if you send us $20, we will send you a T-shirt, but only if
That
you
Maddie
live...
used for painting things.
I was gonna say,
Smock.
but only if you're in the US. Only if you're in the US.
No, she's from Sydney, mate.
I was trying to get an out, and I was making fun of Stargate Command at the same
No,
time.
no. I was just shutting you down.
Handbrake.
Yeah.
No, it's our reward to make this podcast every week. So, yeah, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, we really
To bring it
appreciate
to
it.
you.
Thank you.
Love hearing from all you guys. So,
Yeah, that's the other thing I noticed too, because if people aren't listening to us on iTunes, they're not going to really give us an iTunes review. So if you want, you can come to our Facebook page and
Yeah.
give us a 5-star review.
Just empty your hairy mailbag all over our
Yeah,
Facebook page.
that's-
or just yeah, or just like comment on one of our posts or message us or email us and just tell us what you think. Tell us what
Just-
any upcoming episodes or
just-
previous episodes, your ideas or something you've had rattling around in your head.
Give us some content for short, like crappy episodes like this one, where we need to make it up.
Yeah,
Although,
or if you want,
having said that, though, is from this point on, I don't think we have another bad episode until maybe like Entity at the end of season 4. Like we've got a solid like
Dang.
Yeah.
25 episodes of pure gold. We're heading into the golden age of Stargate.
Like-
I cannot
yeah.
wait.
also if you want to hear our opinion on stuff, or if you want to hear us go off on a rant of something, or hear our thoughts on something, yeah, I'd love it if you message in and say, "Oi, what are your thoughts on this from X episode?" or whatever you're thinking.
Well, speaking of that, who's...
Man, we can go off on a rant.
Because I want this,
We-
I
we
want this
tried-
to be the people's podcast. That's my dream.
Yeah, righto, Hamish and Andy.
Oh, I don't listen to them.
Well,
So-
who's
It doesn't matter.
speaking of asking?
No, I
us-
get what you mean. I absolutely agree. And what I like about the fact we do have Sarah, or 2 Sarahs that we've just mentioned before, we've got Damo, we've got a lot of people that are regularly writing to us.
Brendan's mate, Pete.
Yeah, mate.
Pete, yeah.
Pete,
Pete,
OG,
mate,
OG.
And when they
OG.
write in, it's like we might hear from Sarah, and I'm like, I know what kind of gear we're going to get from Sarah, you right? And then the Ostron, right? He's going to write to us. I know what kind of gear.
Ashley
I know
O.
what they like,
Ashley
what
O's
they
always
don't.
got good
Ashley
gear.
O's great. What they like, what they don't like about Stargate. So, there's only 4 of us idiots in this room, and we're doing it to talk about Stargate with a lot of other people. So, write into the show, whether it's an email, we got getintogate@gmail.com. Find us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, even Instagram. I know
Slide
it's-
into our DMs, mate.
Yeah.
Just slide into our DMs.
Send pics.
Yeah.
Just find us. Get into Gate, a Stargate podcast
Now,
on the social.
We're everywhere.
having given out all that praise, who's going to be the one to read it out?
What?
One of our new listeners who's gotten in touch with us on a couple of different ways in the last sort of couple of weeks. Big Jonas Quinn fan.
Oh,
I feel like Brendan wants to read this one.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it? I've got it here.
I
All right.
like this chick already.
Oh, you better hope it's a chick.
I've seen a profile pic.
Oh, okay.
Hey, even
Done a bit of
even if it's a he and he's catfishing, I'm all for that.
Down, baby.
Like I said, we're the people's podcast. So, like you said, I
People,
meant to
any
say, I
people.
didn't say shit. Like Brendan
Like
said.
Hamish and Andy says, we're the people podcast.
So I can't. Her Twitter's kind of cut off. It's at Beth Ray something or other. But big Jonas Quinn fan. Which I mean, that's not going to mean anything to Rhys. But for the rest of us in this room, that's putting you on the back foot already. Like, you are actually really lucky Lincoln's not here tonight, because wow, would he just roast you on that?
I feel Jonas got a bad rap, and I know why.
Because he's Jonas. We'll get there.
So yeah, hopefully we have Coronemic in
It'll be a
after
first
season
guest.
6.
I mean, he's not doing anything, so surely he'll come on.
Mate, he's big on Twitter.
So at Get Into Gate, and this is a pro of nothing. Like, when was the last time we had a Toker episode? That was what, Joel and I's memories, and we weren't even on a Toker homeworld or anything like that. So
Maybe that's what episode she's up to, mate.
yeah, just the mind goes to an interesting place here, which is
I was thinking more like when they're in the Toker tunnels, Toker part 1 and 2.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
like a season ago.
Yeah.
Well, Big Jonas Quinn fan asks, what is up with the Toker being against doors? How are you supposed to comfortably wank in a crystal tunnel network with no doors?
Great point, though.
She does
Absolutely a
raise
great
a
point.
really interesting issue.
Like, there'd be uncomfortable beds to start with.
Yeah.
Like, you might be into that kinky shit, I don't know, but laying on a stone slab by whacking it.
Laying on the stone slab sounds like a euphemism for whacking it.
Because that's what I was thinking. If you're...
laying on a stone
Laying at the
slab,
stone slab.
shell kicking your Nemron.
What if the Tok'ra took over the host's body, like he was in charge of the body, whacked it? Would that be rape?
Well, we touched on that
We
a
touched on Joel and
few
I's
weeks
memories.
ago.
Yeah, we touched on that.
When the
He's-
host
That's right.
didn't want to hit up old mate, and the Toker's like, well, I'm taking charge.
Yeah, so that's it. If
I'm
they're,
using this tool.
if they're so...
Yeah, you agreed to this when I inserted myself into you the first time.
if they're so prudish about that sort of stuff, yeah, I mean, no doors on all those Toker tunnels.
Yeah.
But having said that, in Toker Part 1 and 2, that guy managed to be a secret Gould with that communication ball thing, and no one noticed that. So, maybe it's
Yeah,
just another
blind
little
eye.
story.
Privacy, like it's a respect thing. They walk past an open door, they just don't look in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to see...
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe if there's 2 Tok'ra going at it, the rest just huddle around.
Circle
shit.
jerk.
Hey, we
Maybe
don't,
that-
we,
what kind
we
of
don't
shit
know.
they're into.
We don't know. Maybe they got outcast for a reason. Who knows?
Maybe that's what One False Step dudes are into as well. Like
No doors in their dung huts.
and just like circle jerks. Like,
all I'm saying
anything
What are they
else.
jerking?
is, would any of you...
circle rubs.
All I'm saying,
I didn't feel like we had to actually do it to make that sound, but I appreciate
hard.
everyone's enthusiasm.
all I'm saying is, if you're walking down a Toker tunnel, do you want to just like round a corner and see Supreme Chancellor Gershaw
Taking a bog.
just finger banging herself?
Maddie, you got a reply from Dan J. Murphy.
What
I
did Dan J. Murphy
Well, this is
say?
This is referring to Maddie's hole when you said, "What's this one
'cause
about?" Wormhole.
The other week we had
My hole.
Wormholes
two-
and my holes or something.
two messages from Dan, and I said mine's about wormhole, and you said yours is about your hole.
Was it? Was it actually though?
It was well.
No,
yeah.
it was.
Well, Dan writes a message about your hole. Hey, Maddie, just say the word, you saucy minx.
Oh,
Grr, baby.
Can we interest you to big Jonas Quinn fan?
I'll happily write some Stargate themed erotica for you. The safety word is Sholva. Cheers for the readout, fellas. I'm honoured. Looking forward to hearing Rhys enjoy the rest of SG1. Have you decided to foist Atlantis and universe upon him yet?
Is that a combination word of force and fist? Is that
I hope so.
that's what we're all looking for.
Yeah. If the latter, may God have mercy on your soul, Rhys. Love the podcast. Cheers, Dan Murphy. Bus wanker. Because he was on the bus.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's laughing on
yeah.
the bus.
Did we insinuate he was wanking on the bus? Is that a
No,
break-
that he's telling us.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, I suppose Mitch did ask, what's the weirdest thing you do when you're listening to one of our podcasts? And you did ask if you have us on when you're banging
No,
on a
but it's
session
on,
or something
um,
like that. So
On one of our favourite English shows, because Dan's from the UK.
In
You're
between
right.
us.
You're
right.
In
You're
between
right.
is bus wanker.
cup of tea and a muffin.
I just wrote, no worries, Dan. Maddie is always up for it, judging by our off-air chats. But his safe word is usually cucumber unless it's fruit and veg day.
Never ask Maddie to bring
You
a
buy
salad
enough,
to a
though.
barbecue.
Mate, if I bring a salad, there is definitely. I had to bring a salad to Christmas lunch, and there was definitely no cucumber.
I made you a
in that.
salad. It's got some of Maddie's own dressing.
And then
come on,
I
mate.
sent him a
Superbad.
couple of pictures of Dan Murphy's, which is a liquor store here in Australia. So
Love
he
it.
was pretty happy with
The
that.
best. If they want to sponsor the show, I like Jim Beam.
Absolutely. Get that into us.
Oh, Summersby apple
Get
cider.
into-
You can actually only get it from Dan
Mate.
Murphy's.
That's true.
You
Really?
gotta drink with your sister.
Yeah, there's. Just can't be like one of the guys around these guys.
What else we got? Anything else in the hair mailbag?
That's all I had. Mine's empty.
Mine's feeling empty.
I've emptied mine. I'm ready.
There
for
was a
nap.
few more, but we're running over time, so maybe next month, guys.
All right, that's episode 62 of Get Into Gate. New ground. And now it's old ground. I'm going to move straight on from this bad boy and go into, 25 solid episodes? I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, it's all gold. It is all gold. I can.
It's kind of like
first
a,
episode of season 4. Yes and no, but most of season 4 is pretty much gold.
How many episodes this season we got left?
3.
3.
3 left.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then a
all
wrap up.
great. All great episodes.
Maternal Instinct will be next week, written by the one, the only Robert C. Cooper. And Braytek's in it by the looks of things, Rhys, so I won't give anything else about the episode, but
Well,
I'll be Braytek in there, so
are we?
spoiler alert.
Are we? If we're going to finish off on our new segment,
Oh, well. Let's see
I
if
love how Mitch forgets
our
that
new
every
segment
week.
Or do I?
on the next
The answer, yes.
on the next Stargate SG-1.
On the next Stargate SG-1,
We found it.
in the hands of a child lies the future of a universe.
I'd like some backup on this one, sir.
To find him, no price is too high to pay.
Whose bodies are burnt to a crisp and yet nothing around them's even been touched.
No life too precious to lose.
I am not ready to die.
And no secret too painful to confront.
The Gould are responsible for the death of my wife. Your hate will lead to the child's death.
Now, the battle must be waged from within.
Your journey has only begun.
That was a glider. We're out of time.
The Goa'uld mothership has landed. On the next Stargate SG-1.
Woo! Jam-packed.
I didn't realize what that episode was till halfway through for some reason.
Oh, I love it so much.
It's pretty good.
There's some weird teasers in there. The
Yeah,
first
it's
one was a
weird.
bit strange, and they're like, no life, too precious to lose. Straight to Braytek going, I'm not ready to die. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Spoiler alert, he does.
Yeah. And then Teal'c saying the glider has landed.
The mothership has landed.
Going, okay. Good stuff.
well, join us back next week, same time, same channel.
What a
we'll
tease
see
from Brendan.
what Maternal Instinct is all about. Stargate Sundays with Get Into Gates. As I mentioned earlier, catch us on the socials and our podcast channels. Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. You can send us a email if you so choose, getintogate@gmail.com. Myself, Mitch_Lewis on Twitter and Instagram. Let's talk some gate. Where you at, Matt?
At High Pitch Maddie on Instagram. Someone just fart.
Brendan on the
I
right.
really hope that's in the recording.
You should be German in this one.
At the Brandon Gibson.
Mine's Faza.
Yeah.
Rhys, you got to
I'm
be South
at
African.
the Flying Gibson.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's not bad. All right, we'll catch you back next week for more Stargate Sundays with Get Into Gate. We'll be talking Maternal Instinct. Catch you then.
Husband.
It'll never get old.
No.
GetIntoGeek.com.